Testing, testing.
I can hear you. I
Last week on the
Three middle-aged morons.
podcast.
Yeah, we're down, man.
A medical emergency.
Yeah, I guess so. This is one of our only probably listener has joined us.
Hello, only listener.
What's up, Claudius?
What would you like us to call you? Do it yourself, you know.
You can just call me Molecule.
Grace.
Mute yourself.
We have the acronym game.
The acronym game. We did that once before, right? That was okay.
Well, no. That was you had the acronym. We had to guess what it was.
Okay.
This is you have to make one up. This is a little improv game. The first acronym for the first segment of the game is Unite.
Unorganized nuns ignited through erotic decency.
Unicorns not in touch eternally.
Eternally.
Unite.
I said internally.
No,
So it's like throughout all existence, they're spread apart.
that's right.
I can already tell you won this round.
Oh my God, it's
They're just-
brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant because it's Unite. They're all about getting back together, but eternally they're apart.
Fine, you won.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Molecule wins that one.
All right,
Hands
fine.
down.
It has to be hands down. I was pretty good too about nuns uniting. They're unorganized right now, but that's the whole point. They get together.
Grace.
Well, they saunter away. The one video we have, they're sauntering. They're not running.
What the fuck is give me the definition of saunter.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, he's swinging his arms widely. He's got a bit of a strut going.
That's great.
And Clark doesn't walk that way. Actually, I've seen him walk. He doesn't walk that way.
Grace.
Do it. Now, Molecule, try not to get too excited during this segment, okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right? Now I get to actually see him do it.
Keep it tapped out. You know, keep it tapped out. You know, I know that. You know.
We'll see.
ASMR could make girls thirsty. I know that, and boys too. Try to keep it, you know, in your pants.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I know. As always, I like to take my headphones off, smoke a little bit, get a little drink, and then I like to listen to Jerry's Claudius's ASMR alone.
Oh, yeah, boys too, for sure.
Oh yeah, I shall return.
Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more. Or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows into our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger.
Grace.
Segment number 2.
I believe you won the last one, Molecule. We're in for a rematch here.
Naturally.
Okay, so we're gonna mix it up, and Molecule is gonna go first this time.
Okay.
The acronym is SWINE.
Shallow whales inside night.
Scientists will immediately negotiate entreaties.
I'm gonna go. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Case on that one because he was more confident.
And because we can do it in third segment. Otherwise it ends here and we don't have a third segment.
Grace.
Yes, I don't have any good stories, I guess, besides we have a really good time in there and laugh. And you feel like you're socializing. You feel like you're hanging out with your friends.
It really does feel that way, yeah. And it's funny when some of these jackasses come in, you know, that's really hilarious.
I did go to Burning Man in Alt Space.
That's neat. Yeah, tell us about that. That sounds really cool.
Well, it was just somebody created a fake Burning Man type setting, but there were people just congregated, and then there was a bar you could get a little drink. And what's cool about it is the further the closer you get to the people, the more you can hear them. So it's just by person to person. And then as you went further away, you'd see tents, or before that you'd see RVs, and it would as it disperses, you'd get to tents, and so it's as if you're working away from and there was a giant DJ on a big screen that's playing the music, and there was just light up shit and fucking trippy stuff. So it's good. It's cool.
Grace.
All right, so now back to the game. The third round of the game, motherfuckers.
Third round of the game. Okay, so
yeah, drink up, Case.
All right.
Earmuffs, Case.
So for the final word, it's Willow.
Witches initiate land-loving octopuses willingly.
Well, obviously that's a plus.
Witches initiate land-loving octopuses willingly.
I bet they do. Kind of sexual.
The-
Those tentacles, right?
So I mean, it's like octopuses and they're land-loving. So like obviously they're out of the water, and these are witches involved. So
tentacles, and they're welcome, right?
Yeah, and they're welcome, and they're land-loving. So good luck, octopuses. This has to do with the witches. It's the only reason they're alive. So go ahead, Kate. Speak that.
Welcome, illusionists. Lovely on Willows.
I will.
No.
Nice
you
try
can't
at
use
the end.
the acronym in your words.
Why not?
Grace.
Actually, it takes 4 because they can't really tango because they don't have legs. So each worm has to act as one leg.
Ooh,
do
now
all
we're
the
into
proper
worm
dance
orgies,
steps.
which is like a little bit X-rated for this podcast. So I'm going to cut you off there.
Nothing's on the table. Nothing's on the table on this podcast.
Grace.
All right, well, we're down another man this week. A different man now. Claudius isn't here. But Clark is back. That's a plus.
I guess depending on how you look at it.
I look at it as a plus, of course.
Well, that's you.
Oh, our listener may not look at it as a plus. I think all of it.
I mean the host, me.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, good point. Well, Claudius may join us. He said he forgot about the podcast, which I guess, I don't know if that's yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad just to forget about it. Maybe forgot it was Monday.
Yeah, sure. I guess.
I guess this is technically the state of the pod because, one of our, just forgot about it. So
Just forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, like as though it's not important at all.
Yeah, at least I had the decency to give you advance warning.
That's true. You did.
And this one, he
guess.
just disappeared.
If he forgets, it's hard to give advance warning when you forget. If he gave advance warning, you would not have
Oh, here we go. It's acceptable. It's acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable.
I guess I should have just forgot then. Just, just conveniently forgot.
Yeah,
I wasn't joining a Hitler Youth meeting, unlike some of us, but
Wow.
Wow.
Hey,
whatever, what's your whistle?
Wow, you really dropped a nuclear bomb on that one. Jesus. I'll admit, there was a little bit of friendly ribbing last week of you because you missed the pod.
Oh, just a little. Yeah, just a little. Yeah.
What particular?
And is that what you would call it, ribbing? I think the better term is ripping.
What was the one that stuck in your craw? Like they really dug in. Like I don't remember anything that bad.
The entire podcast.
Okay.
The entire podcast.
Care to elaborate a little?
Well, I don't know. Somehow medical emergency was introduced to it, which I never even alluded to that. I don't know where that came from. No idea.
Well, we had, I guess we dramatized it a bit more, you know what I mean? Just for the.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, just a little bit of extra drama,
Yeah, or just plain lies,
Well, I mean, dramatizations can be considered a lie.
Oh, but it didn't end there, though. I mean.
Yeah. Well, what else? That's where. Yeah.
No,
What was the worst thing? Was that the worst thing? The medical emergency.
I told you the entire podcast was just a total stab right through the heart for me.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, even the segment about worm orgies that somehow affected you. Worm orgy segment.
I tuned it out by then. The damage was done.
I'm sorry to hear that. I knew you were going to be listening, so we put a couple of little.
It was very very, very I can't even begin to describe it. Like you're just savagely attacking me because I couldn't be on there. I mean, it was just.
I didn't see it that way. I'm sorry that you.
Oh,
see it.
you were the one. I don't know how you couldn't see it. I mean,
I
you
don't
were
know. I think
just.
I'm sad. I'm sad that Claudius did that to you. I mean, I don't.
No, that was you. Nice try. Claudius was doing fine until he just couldn't resist anymore, and then he just had to bring up Bigfoot scenarios and sharp teeth and sauntering and whatnot.
We did get into the sauntering. Yeah, that's true. I'm guilty of that as well. And so is Molecule. I mean, Molecule is not innocent in this. She asked him to elaborate on the sauntering. Was that it? Was it maybe you were upset that Yoko had replaced you, like in the Beatles? Was that?
No, not at all. I'm glad that you brought her on the show. I was fine with that.
Okay, good. I was wondering, because she's not blameless here. She's hardly ever blameless.
I don't know. Last week she wasn't too bad. At least she was willing to admit that I wasn't there to defend myself while I was being pummeled.
That's true. So I feel like we included a defender of yours on the pod. So at least there's that. You know what I mean? It wasn't just me and Claudius. Just
No, I don't need a defender. Just new friends.
Come on, was it that bad? Well, now's your chance for revenge. Take it out on Claudius. He's not here, so let's.
No, that's okay. I don't play that way.
Well, you already went to Hitler's Youth. I mean, let's not get into why, but then.
I'm stating a fact there. I mean, like, come on. Puts a comb to his lip and does the salute. I mean, come on. The shoe fits wear it.
I mean, that was in the '80s too. It was a whole different world back then.
Oh, I see. Entirely different world.
Yeah, I mean, it's the '80s, late '80s. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the state of the pod. I guess I don't think we can play a game, right, with just the two of us.
No, I don't think it would be that fun. Where's Claudius?
Yeah, I don't know. He said he forgot, and then he's still not here.
I don't think he forgot. I think this is just he skipped out, was hoping that the excuse I forgot would work.
You think he had other plans?
And then you called him on it by telling him, it hadn't officially started. We were still in the recap or whatever you want to call it.
You hate that recap. I know that.
And now he's just disappeared. I'm sure he's got his face in a bag of chips or something.
If your theory is correct, I would say that he. Oh, why am I hearing it? Claudius has arrived.
Our crap work.
Turn down the audio. I can hear echo.
What?
You got the somebody's got the podcast up. I hear no, I don't anymore.
No, who would be listening to that garbage?
Yeah, good question. Welcome.
It's not like anybody even looks at the chat comments anymore.
Hey, nice T-shirt.
What does it say? I don't even know.
Annual furry friends.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even see it.
Lean back, Claudius.
Oh, you saw it before? Wow. That's
5K
those weirdos,
race.
right? That's those weirdos that get dressed up and have sex in costumes, right? Dressed up like.
No, that's Bigfoot fanciers.
Bigfoot what?
Fanciers.
Oh,
Fancy Bigfoot. So Claudius, Clark is telling me is explaining that we savagely attacked him. Do you feel we savagely attacked him? I know
I wouldn't say savagely.
I know we picked on him a little bit, but because he wasn't. But I don't think he got
little gentle ribbing.
Yeah.
so gentle. Yeah, right. Did we listen to the same podcast?
I mean, it's
I didn't listen at all.
It's being accused of sauntering really that bad of a thing. I mean, I'm sure we said much worse about you that you saunter. And actually, I defended you. I said that you don't saunter.
No, you didn't. No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
Yeah, I did. I said Clark does not walk that way. Because I remember you don't if I throw you a ball or something, you're like.
And we know you throw me balls quite often, right? That's a regular occurrence, apparently.
You make it sound sexual, but I mean, it wasn't, sexual. I mean, I have seen your penis. Let's put that out there, but.
Okay, I didn't need to know that.
Well, let's not get into the details of why, obviously.
I didn't whip it out and show it to him, Jerry.
No,
Claudius.
It was against your will?
Let's not get into,
Isn't everything with him?
let's not elaborate. Bridge. I want to change the subject myself on this one. All right, you just arrived for the state of the pod, Claudia. So yeah, at least you made it. That's
It's pretty shabby, isn't it?
yeah, it is. One of us just forget all about it. You know, I
Yeah,
forgot.
how could you forget? How could you forget?
Yeah.
Huh?
I know it's in the front of my brain the whole time, and just it's all I think about all week long.
Oh, I see. That's all you were thinking about, and you just lost track of time because you were thinking of the podcast.
I was
And then you
daydreaming
suddenly
about-
realized, hey, I'm not on the podcast, and the podcast is going on without me. So I won't bother telling them, that I'm going to be late or anything. I'll just wait for something.
In Claudius's defense, how could
Of course. In his defense, I did not hear that once. I did not hear that once last week. In my defense, except for the guest host, which I have to thank.
How could someone prepare for a forgetting about the podcast? I mean, you can't give if you gave advance warning, he could not have forgotten. We would see right through it. Oh, I'm going to forget later. You can't do that, obviously.
Conveniently forget.
Well, I guess we're going to find out next week.
Well, Malcho, if you're listening, that's a cue. You better stand by next week.
I feel like I'm being savagely.
Yeah, you are. Apparently you are. Is he gone?
Who?
I don't see him anymore. Can you hear him? I don't.
No, I don't see or hear him. See, he came in, said his thing, and he left already. See? Apparently he's,
Reconnect, Claudius.
kick him.
Stop it. I can't hear you. We can't see you.
I'm back.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's end the state of the pod segment as sad as that was, because
It sounds like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's true. At least this is content. At least you can say that. All right.
Oh, and the fans do love Clark though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We do too.
Right. You were discussing getting rid of me.
No, that was a joke because I knew you were a while. You listened.
Yeah, right. It sounded like a joke. Do we need him?
That was just a joke.
Do we even need him?
Is that what you're considering as part of the attack? Because that was just a joke. Of course, you're replaceable. Obviously, no Yoko's gonna replace you. That's like Yoko getting on the drums and replacing Ringo. No, that's not gonna happen. Come on.
Not that much of a
Ringo.
stretch.
Here's a message for you, Yoko. I would be happy, Yoko, if you replaced me. Put me out of my misery.
Well, no one can do that. Like all I'm saying is, I'm not saying you're Ringo I'm not saying we're the Beatles and you're Ringo. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so don't take offense to that. Maybe that's savage. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Is he George?
Yeah, I think so. I think what you're saying, Claudius, is that you and I are John and Paul. So
I'm definitely Paul.
Yeah, okay, then I'm John. So would you rather be Ringo or George?
I want to be Bob Dylan.
Who introduced the Beatles to drugs? All right, yeah, that's fair enough. He brought them acid, changed their music. Okay, well, Bob Dylan's been canceled, so he raped a 14-year-old. So I mean, I don't think you should be going around claiming Bob Dylan at this point in time. Just personally, All right, that has been the state of the pod. Let's bridge out into the game. Do we have a game? If not, I have something. And it's not time travel the game.
Yes.
Watch what you wish for.
This
my
is
God.
something you guys should be very...
What's this? He's got a pencil.
I'm ready, just in case.
I don't like it when you have a pencil.
Oh, do you have a game, Claudius? If you have a game...
No, I was waiting for you, Cam. I'm getting ready to jot down my notes and ideas.
A pencil. Nothing says being old than having a pencil in your head.
Yeah, all those 5-year-olds that have them in kindergarten.
This is...
Ancient.
They'll have iPads now. This is 1980s trivia. Something you guys should be very familiar with. Having
Okay.
grown up in the 80s. I'm younger than you guys, obviously. So you...
Oh, yeah. Right.
I don't remember much of the 80s.
Nice try.
Too much drugs, huh? All right.
It was a
This is an
wild
easy one.
time.
Let's start with these. Here's what I want you to do. Now, when you're ready to answer, when you know the answer, Clark, I want you to say Grace, and Claudius, I want you to say pause. Okay, when you have the
Okay.
answer. You know what I mean? And then the first person to say it will be the one that I'll call upon. And then if you get it wrong, then the other person has a chance to get it right.
Okay.
Okay? So let's try it.
Yeah.
This is an easy one.
Okay.
80s kids will remember the VHS, but what does it stand for?
Pause.
Not Claudius?
Oh shit. Video harming system.
No. Clark.
It's video home system.
Yes, it is. You got it right.
Whoa.
1-0. I hope someone's keeping track of the score. Yeah, use your pencil to keep track of the score.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't know. They're for old people.
Question number 2. And we'll do 5 questions this round. Which video game was the most popular video game of the 1980s?
Ooh.
Pause.
We've all played a lot of video games. Claudius?
Pac-Man.
No. Clark?
Ooh.
That's a tough one. I honestly don't know. I would have said Pac-Man too.
We'll come up with something besides Pac-Man, and then I'll give you guys a hint, and we can do another round of this one.
I don't know. I'm just gonna stab Frogger.
No. Okay, the hint is this is a video game, so it's not, maybe you guys are thinking of like, arcade games. This is a video game, and it's still popular today. In a different form, obviously. Different game, but it's still going strong today. I see.
Whoa, wait, what do you mean?
The series. Let's say the series is still going strong today.
Okay.
In
the 1980s.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess pretty.
Mario Brothers.
You're right. You didn't say Grace, but you're right. Yeah, it's Mario Brothers. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
1-1 is the score.
No, it's 1-2 or 0-2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. All right. That's why you're keeping score. Should be an easy one for both of you. Which computer sold in the 1980s still holds the Guinness World Record for the highest selling computer of all time?
Grace.
Clark.
Commodore 64.
That's right, which I owned, and we played many a video game on it. 3-0. Claudius, what's going on? You want to? Is it too hard?
I forgot the 80s completely.
What year was the Berlin Wall torn down?
Grace.
I think Claudius has you beat by just a millisecond.
Okay.
1989.
That's right. Yeah, finally, you're on the board with 1.
On the board.
All right, one more question for this round. What is the name of the ancient Chinese toy that had a new lease of life in the 1980s? I think that's On Life, but it's a misprint here. An ancient Chinese toy that had a new lease on life in the 1980s. A Chinese toy. Trying to fill the dead air while you guys are thinking. Doesn't say exactly what part of China. China's a very giant place, but yeah, it is an ancient Chinese toy. I'll give you a hint. It's not Domino's. I don't know. Was that Chinese? I don't even know. It's not that finger trap. The Chinese finger trap.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a toy.
It's a toy, yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to swing wildly.
First you got to say pause.
I got to say pause.
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to say the Pog.
No. Wrong. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Well,
I don't know. It's some stupid little disc or something.
That was the 90s, though.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I don't remember the 80s.
Clark, you want to take a guess?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Just guess something.
I really don't. I'm not familiar with a lot of ancient Chinese toys. So
just give him a toy. Just guess a toy, maybe. You might not really guess Chinese. A toy in the 80s, maybe it'll be the right one.
I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I didn't play with many
you know
Chinese
Sun
toys.
Tzu's cube?
Okay.
Sun Tzu's cube. Yeah. Explain what that is.
Yeah, Claudius.
Yeah. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the feet. It involves the foot.
The feet.
Foot.
Ah.
A toy that involves the foot.
Nobody? Want me to just
Dead air. Dead air. Fridge.
Break.
give you the answer and move on?
Yes, please.
It's
Put
the
us out.
hacky sack.
Oh, the hacky sack.
Yeah, the hacky sack.
Uh,
That was
okay.
it. Right? That's it for the first round. It's 3-1.
Woohoo.
Mark is ahead. Wow. All right. All right, so let's move on to the Jamie Saves the World segment. Now, I want to approach this a little differently, and I'm gonna this segment. I'm gonna basically talk about the new approach to it. Last week we talked about what is known as a cargo cult. I don't know if you listened, Clark, to that part. Maybe you already tuned out.
yes, I heard. I'm well aware of them. Well aware of them. Yes.
Oh, you already knew. Good. All right. Yeah. So I want to kind of, instead of us, just saving the world, I'd like to explain how we got to where we are. And I've been doing some research into that, so I'll use this segment to sort of discuss how the system started, the system that we're currently in. We'll end with the invention of writing. So it'll be basically after the Ice Age, as the ice is receding, what state Homo sapiens in, and then we will continue on until the invention of writing, which I see the invention of writing as cementing the current system that we're in. And it's, of course, it's constantly evolving, and changing. There's new styles and everything, but that's because of writing. I think that's the way I see it. Writing is the thing that I'm not saying it's bad. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, but the invention of writing is what makes it so that we don't get out of the system that we're currently in. Writing cemented us into this cycle. So we'll be talking about that. So I'll be in the first couple episodes with this segment. I'll be talking about what Homo sapiens were doing before the invention of farming, and then we'll get to the invention of farming because I've been doing a lot of research for a book I'm writing that I'm working on. So we'll start with all around the world, from the Americas to Australia to Europe, Russia, Siberia. We'll talk about what human beings were doing before the invention of farming. And then, from that, we'll go into... So I think for this episode, I'd like to discuss... And actually, it's going to predate human beings. It's going to be the invention of fire, the invention of controlling of fire. What we've now learned about that is that fire came about because there's some areas in the Middle East, which are no longer there now because of oil use, that fire was constantly just, like, parts of the land were just constantly on fire. So we think that's where the control of fire started. Like, what we didn't first learn how to make fire. We learned how to take something that was flammable, put it into the fire, and then carry that fire with us. Not very far at first, and then light other things on fire. Please speak. Yeah, go on.
I'm not attacking you. I'm just asking a simple question.
Yeah.
How do we know that there was places that were on fire? Like, what evidence?
Because it was only up until like 100 years ago that they stopped being on fire.
Okay.
It was only when they started taking all the oil out of the ground that the fire stopped.
Okay.
So what they've done is they found ashes. Archaeologists have found ashes and remains of fire and stuff like that. So they know the progression of it. They know that it started here and then it expanded out.
Okay.
And it's not Homo sapiens; it's earlier than that.
Okay.
And it was used for as hominids moved out of Africa and into colder environments. They took fire with them so that they could warm them. That's what it was used first. It was warming, and then it eventually started being used for cooking. Again, not predating Homo sapiens. Even Neanderthals cooked with it. So that was our first real technology. Is the use of fire, the control of fire, not fire itself. Obviously, fire is a natural thing. It also came about through storms and stuff like that. But there's areas in the Middle East, which it makes sense because now we realize there's oil all over the place over there. There's oil just in the ground, and because it was lit on fire with storms or whatever, multiple ways to do it. eruption, stuff like that, it continued to be on fire. So people knew that fire was here. They knew it was always in this one spot, and they were always moving around, right? Because before farming, we didn't have settlements, so we would have temporary settlements for like the winter. And people think like, oh, we spent time it was all cavemen, but it wasn't. Caves were where we went when it was really bad, when the weather was bad, when there was most of the time we had temporary, like lean-tos, stuff made out of wood, things like that don't survive, so we don't see them in the archaeological record. But they're like made out of skins stretched out over branches, stuff like that. But when it got real bad out, then we went into caves to survive for a couple of days while there was like a monsoon or tornadoes and stuff. So at first, that's where this whole thing begins, is with the invention of the control of fire, and that spread once groups of humanoids, let's say pre-Homo sapiens, started controlling fire. And obviously, the idea of it spread through language, because language is probably pretty complicated by then, much more complicated than say apes. So I guess it's safe to say that probably language is our first real invention, so that we can hand down technology. I don't think you'd have real technology before you have language, because there's no writing, right? Writing wasn't for thousands of years later. Writing was only invented in like 5,000 years ago. So I think language, complicated language that we can actually explain things to and remember, was probably our very first invention. We don't have any remains of that, to look at. But I think you don't have control of fire without complicated language that we can actually explain to people how to get the fire and how to use it, hand it down from generation to generation. Because we see that animals use control of fire. Like there are certain birds that pick up burning sticks and light other areas on fire, and then watch while the animals run out of those areas, thick underbrush. And then these birds will pick off the animal, rabbits or whatever that run out of the fire. So animals use fire too. And we do think that we found that there's evidence of crows that are able to talk to each other and pass down information. So my point is that I think this is what I want to do with this segment, is I want to start earlier, and I want to lay the foundations of all the research I've been doing, and then slowly just bring us along to all the way to the invention of writing. So yeah, what do you guys think? And then we'll save the world once all that's done and we get there, and then if we last.
Does that include the? Since I might as well bring it up, does that include the Sasquatch race too, or are they non-fire users?
I think they're hairy enough that they don't need fire. I think humanoids' use of fire is also what made us less hairy, because we didn't need it. We didn't need all that hair to be kept warm.
Well, birds have feathers.
That's true. Good point.
Fire's actually been used for trimming hair, like trimming beards.
Really? I didn't know that.
How'd that work out for you? How long did it take your eyebrows to grow back?
Well, you see, I haven't shaved in a while, so.
Yeah, that's true. You do have a pretty long beard. And it's fucking black, as though you're not getting gray like the rest of us, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
How you doing that? You got some shoe polish you're putting on there, or what?
It's called dye.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
just for men.
It's called trying to look your best.
I will admit that because I had filmed the part in the movie, and they wanted me to refilm some shots, and so I did. At one point, I did dye my hair black.
Was Spider-Man in that one too?
No, that was not my Spider-Man commercial.
No, this was the pubic hair, Jerry. This was of an adult nature.
I wish I had a big enough cock to be in adult movies. I don't. It's on the small. Just trying to set expectations for our listeners out there, But yeah, it's on the smaller end. I just, got to set expectations. All right, so that was that. That's the Jamie Saves the World segment. That's where we're gonna go from. So next week we're gonna prepare a little thing about. So we already covered fire. So next week will probably be a little bit about what happens right after, as the Ice Age ends, where human beings are in a lot of different parts of the world. We'll talk about the expectations about like people think everywhere had one culture, like it was just hunter gatherers and they all did the same exact thing. They were hunting, gathering, and we'll talk about how that's recently over the last couple of years, just last like 5 or 6 years, archaeological evidence has proven that is just not the case. And also, even though we talk about, like I mentioned, farming, the fact is that we knew how to grow crops long before we invented farming. It's going to be an ASMR segment. I think Clive should get with his loud noises.
I'm sorry, Claudius. Are we disturbing you there?
I don't have anything prepared.
He knows that the next segment's going to be ASMR, so he's trying to get because he forgot about the podcast.
What is it? It's not showing up. It's not showing up.
That's the Harry Anderson's cards that I gave him.
I see.
The movie about Bigfoot. I should have given it to you, Clark. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it. I think I have another set.
Great. I look forward to it.
All right. So what I'm saying is, well, Claudius is preparing for ASMR. Is that we're going to talk about some of the. Well, actually, people did farm. Like what they did was in the wild they would like find the crops that were growing in the wild and kind of cultivate the area they were growing so that it would make it easier for the crops to grow. So like the idea that we knew about farming for a long time, thousands of years before we actually farmed, but it was like more of like it was allowing the wild crops to prosper. Like going like once in a while, going to that area and then weeding out, making it easier. Even in some cases, they seem to think that they actually tilled the land a little bit, so that like the crops would prosper more and like grow and create into a bigger area. So like the idea, nobody invented farming. We already knew what it was. What we invented was the idea of taking one particular area that didn't have any crops and putting crops there. We've known for thousands of years before that like how crops grew. We knew about seeds. We knew about all that stuff. We just didn't do it. We didn't have a particular area. We just circled around and found the wild areas where they were already growing and made it easier for those crops that we liked to grow, but they were still wild. And then we would come back. We knew when they were going to be ready to harvest, and we would come back and harvest them.
So we were lazy?
No, I don't see it as lazy. I think it was constant work. I think it was just like instead of like having one area where it was like, one small area where all the crops were, the crops would just spread out. So we'd have to move crop to crop and do work in that area throughout the year. Well, probably not throughout the year. It was still, the growing cycle was probably very similar to what it is now, but it just wasn't like many crops in one area. There was many crops spread out over their natural wild areas.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but Claudius has a glow to him now, which means he must have found some material that he finds acceptable.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the ASMR segment. And as usual, what I like to do with this is I use the opportunity to smoke a little bit more and get some whiskey. And then I like to listen to the ASMR when I'm in private with the lights low, the zipper down. I like to, just get myself in the mood for candles, a little bit of that green pill that makes the dick hard. I forget what the name of that is.
Once again, we need to put adult ratings on this.
All right, so enjoy. I shall return. Back to you, Claudius. On to you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Are we good? We're on. Good. Today I'm going to read from Harry and the Hendersons trading cards. I heard that. First card is Harry. He's not a man, and he's hardly a monster. He's Harry, the towering Bigfoot featured in Harry and the Hendersons, a film directed by E.M. Dean and produced by Richard Vane. George Henderson. The head of the Hendersons is George, a friendly fellow with a talent for drawing and an interest in the great outdoors. George is played by acclaimed actor John Lithgow. Nancy Anderson. By George's side, in this adventure of a lifetime, is down-to-earth Nancy, a loving wife, and sometimes surrogate mother to Bigfoot Harry. Nancy is played by Melinda Dillon, and she's gone on to do wonderful things. Teenager Sarah Anderson. A non-fact of Harry at first. Young Sarah comes to non-fan of Harry at first. Young Sarah comes to respect and even love the family Bigfoot. Don't even tell you who the actress is. I guess she wasn't that important. Young Ernie Anderson. Little Ernie never expected the family's camping trip to bring Harry, the lovable Bigfoot, out of hiding. Again, they don't tell us who the actor is. He's not that important. Dr. Wrightwood. For years, he's searched for the mighty Bigfoot. Even though people called him crazy, he is Dr. Wrightwood, the foremost authority on Harry and his species. Wrightwood is played by Don Amici, most recently featured in Cocoon. Remember, these cards are like 40 years old at this point. And finally, the Hunter LaFleur. Like Dr. Wrightwood, LaFleur has been on the Bigfoot trail for many, many years. But unlike Wrightwood, LaFleur's goal is not the study of the fantastic creature, but to hunt them down. LaFleur is played by the Shakespearean actor David Sacchetti. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's Harry and the Hendersons Trading Cards, Volume 1.
Thank you, man. That was inspired. That was a very inspired segment. I like it. That was, yeah. I mean, I didn't hear all of it. I heard when he kept it on at the end of it, but shit.
This man can do no wrong.
Why, thank you. Thank you.
What are you saying? I don't understand. What are you saying? It was not good?
He forgets about the segment, and you defend him.
Go on.
He has really his key role in the podcast is this segment here, and he forgot about it. So he merely picked up a shopping bag that was on his floor that had some trading cards in it,
and
it's hailed as wonderful.
Some would call that a care package.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you.
Let's hope that the loaf of bread still isn't in it.
I'm not sure you ever ate it.
Months ago.
I'm not sure he ever ate that bread. I don't think he did, but all I'm saying is, look, I'm going to say this. I'll say this.
Just move along. I know where I stand.
No, I'm going to say this.
Just move along.
No, I mean, you're right. It's got to be in context. For having forgotten about it and not prepared at all, at least you pulled the nose up. You know, it could have been much, much worse. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I don't think he can do no wrong. He's done plenty of fucking wrong in his life, for sure.
I thought it was quite topical.
Yeah, man. You feel again it was an attack because of the whole Bigfoot angle, because I'm not saying you are Bigfoot. You have not come out of the big closet yet, the big-footed closet. I'm not, and so I don't want to.
There isn't a closet.
Right? Yeah, of course.
There never was a closet.
It's a hollow tree.
Closets don't exist. There are no such thing as closets. I should put that out there. Hollow tree. All right, the game segment 2. Try to pull the nose up on this one, Claudius. All right.
I'll do my best.
This is an easy one again. You guys should now remember, it's pause and grace. Which advertising slogan was launched by Nike in 1988?
Pause.
Go on, Claudius.
Just do it.
All right, yes. You're right.
I didn't hear the question, but that's all right.
What? All right. What photographic device was introduced to the world in 1986?
Pause.
Go on.
The Kodak disc.
I cannot give that to you. It's not what it says here. It's like moops. It could be like moops. We'll see in a second.
Oops.
Clark, do you have a guess on that one?
Wait, what photographic device?
Yeah, it was introduced to the world in 1986.
All right. Well, we know it wasn't the Polaroid camera. That was around a lot longer than that. 1986. Was it the first digital camera?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It's definitely camera related.
That's the clue?
Yeah, it's related to cameras. You're right about that. Well, it's photographic.
Well, it's a photographic. Yeah. I mean, what the hell was that?
Wow, that's a great clue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
figure out
Appreciate that.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's Fuji did it. Fuji.
Fuji.
Fuji, and it's related to
Pause.
cameras.
Go ahead, Claudius.
The disposable camera.
Yes, you got it. Yeah, it's called the Fuji Quick Snap. It was the first disposable camera, and it quickly got phased out with the digital camera. I imagine. I'm sure people still do it, but what's the score? Is it
3-3. All
tied?
tied up.
Nice. All right. How long did it take Erno Rubik, the inventor of the Rubik's Cube, to solve his own invention? And then I'll tell you how I solved it.
I took mine apart.
Yeah, that's what I did too. Around it and put it
It's
back
very
in.
frustrating. Threw it off the wall until it shattered into pieces and then
I used a
reassembled it.
screwdriver to just fucking break it apart, and then I put it back together the right way. How long did it take Erno Rubik, the inventor of the Rubik's Cube, smartest man in the world apparently, to solve it when you and I, Jamie, solved it? I mean,
I
Clark.
don't know. Grace, I don't know. 15 seconds.
No,
Pause. 20 minutes?
no, a lot longer than that. A lot longer than that. That's my clue.
Pause. 2 days.
Nope. Claudius.
Grace. 3 hours.
Nope. A lot longer than that. Think massive scale here.
Pause.
Oh.
1 year.
No. Less. Oh, sorry. I should not have given that clue to Clark. One more guess.
6 months.
Okay. No. Nope. It was 4 weeks. 1 month long. It took him.
Hmm.
When you and I, Clark, did it in probably fucking. It took me like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was proud of myself too.
Very easy.
Still 3.
And you could also take the stickers off too and put them back.
You could do that, but that would be obvious. This is gonna be a hard one, and you know what? So I'm gonna just skip that one. All right. Which infamous ship sank in 1912 but was found in 1985?
Pause. The Titanic.
Yes. Pull ahead. So that is 8. That's 8 questions, right? I think that's 8.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which country had the first Disneyland to be built outside of the U.S. and in what year? The double-pronged question here. If you get just the country right, I might give it to you. Who knows?
Pause.
Claudius?
France?
No.
Hmm.
Clark? Guess.
Well, I'm thinking it's Euro Disney, but I don't know the exact country. Germany?
No. I'll give you a hint. It's
Pause.
Asian country.
Oh,
Japan.
Japan, yeah. Want to try the year for a double point?
1985.
Nope. Clark?
87.
1983.
Okay.
All right, so one more, right, for this round? This should be very easy for both of you. I'm sure you guys witnessed it just like I had. What was the name of the space shuttle that tragically exploded in 1986?
Pause.
Clark?
Challenger.
Yes. What's the score, Claudius?
5-4.
All
I'm
right.
up.
Nice. Okay. Where are we? The VR segment. Yeah, I mean, Clark, you got it. Have you turned the corner on the VR?
Oh, yeah, right. Wow, that just shifted. Wow. Guess we're not too prepared this week, huh?
Could be worse. It could be time travel the game.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing in particular. I just, I don't know. I think a lot of it, when it came down to VR, I think a lot of it is going to have to do with quality content that goes above and beyond.
Okay.
And the reason why I said that is, I'm currently involved in a game that is very engrossing,
Okay.
and it's really like to the point where it can downright like scare you and catch you off guard, and it's not VR.
Is it time travel the game?
Unfortunately, no. And it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with Regency England either.
Damn it. Double whammy. Well, what?
Sorry.
You're going to hold us in suspense here? Is it
Well,
the game?
no, I mean, it's not. I just mean, I'm not plugging the game. I'm just, my point is, I'm just saying it's a lot of it has to do with the content. You know what I mean? Like the content and how well it's done and how well it's honed. And it just really brings you into the environment.
I will counter with this. I'll counter.
I'm not looking for a counter. I'm just saying that.
You have a great point. You have a great point, but I'll counter with this. Just a separate sort of observation is that there's also a very big social element of the VR. You know what I mean? Like Facebook just released in the last week their it's called Horizons. And what they do, it's like, you go in there. Remember how, I think you guys remember this. Remember how we used to have the role-playing game creator software, where you could you create a role-playing game. I think I did that for you guys at one point. I made like a little role-playing game. What this does is it allows you to create an entire world, basically. You go in there, and so you have like these shapes that you could elongate. They have basic shapes like a square, and there's a thickness to it, and you can modify that. You can make it thick as thin as you want. And then you could also there's also circles and triangles and stuff. So you could use those shapes to create anything in the world. So so in other words, like one idea I had, which I'm sure you guys remember, at least Claudius, you remember this. Spy versus Spy. Remember that?
Yep.
Did you play that, Clark? I don't remember if we played that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you have two people and there's the little things like you have an umbrella and then there's a pail of water that you can place over a door. So if you walk under the door, if you walk through the door and you're not wearing the umbrella, then the pail of water will kill your character. You'll get spawned somewhere. You'll get spawned back to the beginning again. The idea is to collect three different things. Well, you can easily take that. I'm going to do that. Maybe not for a while, but I'm going to try and do Spy versus Spy in this Horizons thing. You could basically create any game you want. They give you the tools. There's scripts in there. There's little scripting things. So if this and that, and you can tag it to particular. So one thing I saw, I just went in to check it out a couple of days ago. One of the things I saw is that it was these hoverboards, where you grab the controller, you stand on the board and grab the controller, and it allows you to move, fly around. So what happens is you get together with one of the things I saw is this game called. Actually, I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically you're one of the people that's playing is a traitor, like a murderer. And you have to figure out who it is that's doing the killing. But if you choose the wrong person, then it doesn't you lose points or something like that. You know what I mean? So you go and if you have to explore this spaceship. And if the two people are alone, if you're alone with the killer, then he could kill you and no one will find out. So remember Clue?
Yeah.
So you can model these things and sort of in that, where you gotta you give the people randomly associated things and then you have to figure out who it is. So there's a big social aspect to it that you're not really thinking about here, where you could not only can you create games, but you could also just create a home environment where you just bring other people who have the VR too around, and you could just kind of say, remember Second Life?
But I do. I see what you're saying, but is that really going to capture crowds like the gamers?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. It's so weird. These days, first on one hand, you're right. But everybody plays a game today, right? Everyone I know, even my aunt, my older aunt, who's older than my mother, she plays games on her phone. Everybody's a game player now. That's one thing. And also, it's not complicated games. You know, these people are playing games that you and I would not even consider games. You know.
You're right, but see, you're forgetting one thing though. You're absolutely right. Your aunt plays those games on the phone and stuff like that. But the key thing is the phone. All right. Now you're introducing another device into it.
Well, see, it's
that-
definitely not going to be her. Yeah, she's not going to begin on virtual reality. That's for sure. Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, that's a
You know what
definitely
I mean?
younger person thing. You know, it's like
See, to me, I mean, I agree with the content, but and I see what you're saying, but like here's a perfect example. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it's worth seeing. They just released some game footage from the new game for the Xbox for the Matrix.
no, I haven't.
I don't know. Okay, it's worth seeing, and you kind of have to. It's a long video. But it's kind of like the making of it.
Yeah.
The graphics and the way you interact with it, it's phenomenal. It's so realistic, and now to me that would be an excellent
Yeah.
VR implementation, but it's not being, it's just a normal game right now.
Yeah, it's not yet.
But
I mean, technology's not there yet.
The
Obviously.
VR, I mean, I think there's a lot of catching up to do. I wouldn't say the technology's not there. The technology's there. It's just going to cost.
Well, like what they just introduced in the whole metaverse thing, you know, is that they just allowed you to literally like a week ago on the Oculus, and you're holding. See, the thing is with the Oculus is you're holding controllers. It's not called the Meta, but I hate that name. It's just dumb. I'm going to continue to call it Oculus. You hold the controllers in your hand, and when you hold them, it tracks the way the controllers move, so that becomes your hand. You know, but they just made this change where you could put down the controllers, and now the cameras
Right.
just show your hands, so you can
Right.
flip people off now. You know, you couldn't do that before. But the thing is, it is buggy right now. You know, it's just not working. But so that's why I'm saying it's still. That's why I'm saying the technology's not there yet. It's we're in the very early stages. So eventually, though, what I'm saying is you're going to be able to probably whole body, just without having to hold anything. It's just going to track the way you move.
Well, no, I get what you're saying, but see, I think we've already been there. If you look at, all right, there was the Xbox Kinect,
Yeah.
and there was also the PC. I'm sorry, the PlayStation version.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And that's exactly what they did. Now,
Yeah.
albeit now a lot has changed.
It was the camera that was there.
Yeah, it was more than a camera, but yeah, it monitored movements, it tracked points of movement and everything else. So I mean, it's there, but
Everything has to come together. That's the thing, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, those two things really kind of failed in a way, which is sad because they offered a lot of potential, but unfortunately, the game houses and stuff didn't want to invest.
But the PlayStation you still had to hold a device that glowed. You know, it would track the glowing device, and that was how it knew you were moving your hands. Now, I don't know about the Xbox one, but I know that the PlayStation you had, because I had it. I still have it for the PlayStation 3. You have to hold a controller that had a bulb that lights up, and then it would know how you were, where your hands were. By the size of the thing, you would know whether you're closer or further, and by the direction of it, left and right. So I just think it's still in its infancy. You know, it's still all that has to come together. It has to be in a way that, also the headset's too clunky right now. You know, but all that is probably gonna, just I mean, I hear what you're saying. I just think we're in the infancy right now, and I don't think it's gonna go away. You know, in the sense of MySpace.
I don't think it'll ever go away. I just think it needs to find its killer technology.
Yeah.
Something that nothing else can do. That's going to make it's going to make everybody want one.
Yeah.
And dish out the money for it. You know what I'm saying?
And
Claudius, you're up for quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm enjoying this conversation.
No, you're reading a web page.
No, I'm checking.
He's interacting with the Twitch thing, Twitch channel, right? That's good. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Once again, step in and defend him. Can do no wrong.
That's not true. He's done plenty of wrong, as we covered in the beginning of this episode. Actually,
Yeah, and just to respond, to the molecule, I see her in the Twitch channel here. I understand what you're saying. I don't think it's. I'm not talking about something that's a physical aspect in this sense. Like with the headset being too big or too bulky or anything like that. Yes, that will come down in size.
of course. Yeah.
I'm sure eventually they'll probably make it so that it's probably like a set of eyeglasses and
You
stuff.
may not. Yeah, you may not even need a headset eventually.
But I still think it needs a killer application. Something that, like I said, in the 80s, like with the Mac, with desktop publishing, everybody ran out because nobody else was doing what the Mac could do at the time with DTP. And I think that if you look at any technology out there, there always seems to be some type of killer application that really rockets them. I mean, even with the cell phones, look at what the iPhone did. The iPhone changed it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know there wasn't.
Because
they didn't invent the phone. They didn't invent the.
No, they didn't. They didn't invent the phone, but they merged the technologies, because before that, and you know what I'm talking about, you had your personal PDA, your personal digital assistants, everything was separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now eventually maybe you'll see some type of merged things because the phones are becoming very powerful,
Yeah, that's true. No.
But I don't know.
It's basically a computer. The phone's a computer, like a couple years old computer right now. That's how the phone is these days, right? Pretty much.
And actually, it's not even that. They're really catching up in terms of speed. So.
Well, yeah, because the computer's not even. There's nothing driving the computer's expansion out into like.
Yeah, well, the thing with the phone, people need to realize with the phones is it's a power consumption issue. So the processors are really on par with the desktop. It's just that they have to be designed for low power consumption. Otherwise,
Yeah, the batteries.
You're lucky if you get an hour out of it. But
Yeah, the batteries would have to be too big. Yeah, I mean that's going to be a struggle. They'll figure that out eventually too, I think.
But all right, I've said my piece.
No, I mean I agree with you. I think an application like that is inevitable. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be something that's going to be done in virtual reality that just can't be done in like regular, even video games. There's going to be some point where it's like you're going to feel like you're actually a part of the game. You're going to feel like Tron. There's going to be a point where you're going to feel like you're in the video game, like Tron. Like I think Tron was like a prediction of this. I think. I'm not saying it's there yet. It's definitely not there yet, but like I see it as inevitable. Like there's going to be a point where you're like when you're playing video games, it's going to be like kind of like you remember briefly. I don't know if you guys had any of these, but those like football games where it was just constantly like boop, boop, boop. You just like a little tiny screen and.
Did we have one? Did we remember them? Of course.
Like my older brother had it, but I didn't, and I was so fucking annoyed by it and we talked about this over at Thanksgiving. It was just he would be there and he'd be going
I remember.
like non-fucking stopping that annoyed the shit out of me.
They were the big thing in grade school. They were the big thing.
I tried to play that fucking thing and I was like, I don't get it. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was just because it didn't the screen didn't move. It was like the stuff around it moved, but not the actual thing. You had to look like in the center, and everything else moved around it. It was like so annoying.
And you could only move forward. And then they came out with the sequel one where you could go backwards, and that was.
I just remember it being so fucking annoying. Just him like constantly.
It was in its infancy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then like you wouldn't like, you wouldn't. I think eventually it's going to be like playing a video game on the computer with the mouse and the keyboard is going to feel like that compared to like an actual like full video game. You're not going to be immersed in it. Like right now you can immerse yourself in it. Early stages, but eventually you're going to feel like it, like you're actually there, and when that happens, the stakes are going to feel much like heightened. You're going to be like, oh my God, like this is actually happening. That's how you're going to feel, Because let me tell you something, and this is, like even in the poker game, poker's a very simple, relatively simple game compared to like a role-playing game, you know what I mean? But when you're in that poker game, and then once in a while they release like they have drones, they release drones. So like remote control drones. So when you strap that thing on, and to me what it feels like, what I like to think of it as is like wearing like a diver's helmet. You know what I mean? Like you put a helmet on, you're only seeing through that little, the area.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
to me, that's what it feels like when I put that headset on and I go into these like a game like the poker game, Poker Stars VR. It feels like I'm wearing a helmet and I'm like in this other world. Like I've dropped into this world and I'm wearing this suit and I see through the helmet I'm there, you know. So they have these things.
Claudius, I just want to interject there for a second.
Mhm.
I just find it hard to believe that the whiskey and the weed does not play a significant factor here,
And the mushrooms.
and the mushrooms.
Well, I'm saying
That's going to be a tough sell.
yeah, but I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this, and I know for a fact that
I didn't say you weren't alone,
not
obviously.
everyone playing this is not smoking weed and doing drugs. And, you know what I mean? But here's what
not to the same extent anyway.
No,
yeah,
no, of
exactly,
course not.
for sure.
No.
Here's
I
the-
take aspirin when I play. I load up on aspirin. Yeah.
Well, I think a couple episodes ago you mentioned some Xanax, so
It's nothing like thinning your blood rate out.
yeah, exactly. But like they put out this thing that's like a drone, right? Like a drone, like a little drone, like which I know you enjoy, Clark. So you hold in your hand this in the virtual reality, you hold in your hand this remote for the drone, but it's also you're holding in the remote, like you know, that you're actually holding for the VR, you know. And so when you do that and you're looking through this thing and you're like moving the drone around, remote control, it feels like you're actually doing it. You know, like there's
Yeah.
not much of a difference. So I get zoom up and down. You know, I see people like just get ridiculous with it. Like they'll even our co-host last week, like they'll like shoot the things up and like compete with each other, trying to get higher and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it feels real. It feels like you actually have a drone, like a remote control drone, it's not possible right now. Real, you know, it's there, but it's like finicky and like you know it gets stuck and broken easily. You lost one in the trees, I remember, whatever. You know.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, and this one you buy it with the fake credits, and then you know if you lose it, you can just bring it back up again, and it's immediately right there in front of you. And also, you can put things on top of it, like they not sell, but you know you can with your credits. The longer you play, the more credits you accumulate. So like you can use that as credits to like buy these little stuffed animals, and then you can put those stuffed animals on top of the drone and fly it around.
I get it.
It feels real. It feels real.
I get it.
You're actually doing it, you know. And I admit that when it first came out, I had spent like a couple minutes just alone on the table.
I guess one of the things I'm worried about too is the centralized control of it.
There's no doubt about that. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean,
that does concern me.
I mean, Zuckerberg is the god of this reality for sure. There's no doubt about it. And right now, it seems benevolent, but you never know, right? I mean, who knows? But again, each game, like the PokerStars thing, is separate from Facebook, right? So it's like it exists inside that sort of, you know. It's two things, right? You get into the VR, but then you also load up the game, and then you're in that other world inside that game.
I get it. I know, but I guess I just look at it from the whole protect. I look at how social media has really changed things, and not so much for the good either. I don't think. Like, and you would know this too because you were heavily involved in it when it first started. But really, the internet is not the internet as we once knew it.
No, it was great for a few years, and then it got rid.
It was phenomenal. I mean, you could create your own little space with your own web page.
And I did. We had, yeah. Remember we had the Church of Wyoming. Remember the Church of Wyoming?
Yes, I remember.
Basically a cult.
But now it's everything goes through social media now. Everything, like websites are non-existent now. I mean, it's really a lot of things are dying. Some of those aspects, which I think ruins an element of it.
It's a trade-off too, though, because you know things have gotten so much fucking corrosive too, with like an anonymity being like such a fucking like screen for people just to be dickheads, you know. Too that, I guess it goes hand in hand, you know. Like the good people make it great, but then the horrible people make it really horrible, you know. Like they feel like they can say anything, so they're like just scumbags out there, you know what I mean? Like it's such a trade-off, you know. Like I understand what you're saying, like, but. And I've had multiple aliases over the years for things online and everything. I've been involved in shit that probably, looking back on it, you know, I've also helped as a programmer, I've helped create this fucking, you know, reality here where it's like, and I'm not proud of that, you know. That's part of the reason why I'm not programming anymore, because like, you know, at some point it just became it's a two-pronged thing. It became horribly cancerous and like just, everybody shitting on everyone else, and also at the same time just a tool for people just to make money and not care about the consequences. Like it goes hand in hand. And I feel like I've helped both because I've been early on with the web. I've been early on with fucking phone apps, and I feel like I've unduly helped create this nonsense. And I feel bad about that now looking back on it.
Made hobos fight for food.
I haven't done
Yeah,
that. That's a good idea.
Man, he was terrible, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Man, dangle a can of tuna fish in front of them. Yeah.
Jesus.
Jeez, man, he was bad.
All right, let's play the last segment of the game. Let's see if we can fucking get this back on track here, huh? I like that. I like that VR segment, Clark. I think Claudius didn't contribute at all, but you did, and I like that.
As it should be.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This should be an easy one for both of you. Remember, pause and grace. What is the name of the incredibly popular range of dolls introduced in the 1980s?
Pause. Cabbage Patch Dolls.
That's right. Yep. You got that one. Oh, this is a really easy one. So be quick on the phrases. CD players first appeared in 1982, but what does CD actually stand for?
Pause. Compact disc.
Yes. Come on, Clark. What's going on with you? All right. What is the name of the 1980 smash musical that originally started out being sung in French and then was translated into English?
Pause.
Claudius.
Les Miserables.
Yeah, Clark, what's going on with you? What's the score? Does he even have a chance?
8-4.
All right. Who won the Super Bowl in 1987?
Just give it to him already.
How would he know? You don't know? How would he know?
Chicago Bears.
Pause. San Francisco 49ers.
No and no.
Oh.
You want a hint? Maybe a hint?
Cowboys.
No. East Coast.
Eagles. Patriots.
All right. Well, you can't just keep trying. You got to say pause. You got to say.
What difference does it make? All right, I'm in the hall.
All right, it was the New York Giants. In 1980, Robert Ludlum published the first book in a series, which were then adapted into films starring Matt Damon. What was the name of the first book in the series?
The Bourne Identities series?
You got to say, yeah, you got it. I'll give it to you. But you
Pause. Agrees.
Pause or grace or whatever. I mean, I think it was that 5.
Probably.
Give
it up. He won. Give it up. Just give
One
it
more
up.
question. Which shoe had a resurgence in the 1980s? Which shoe had a resurgence in the 1980s?
Pause.
Go on.
Converse All-Star.
Yeah, how the fuck did you know that? Are you looking at this website that I'm looking at? You son of a
Hey,
bitch?
I lived through the 80s, buddy. I may not remember most of it, but I remember the useless stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Claudius has won that game. Sorry, Clark. But maybe next week you'll.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I mean, you can't win. You cannot win. So there's no point in going on with the question. It's 9-5. According to our listener, it's 9-5.
What a way to make a living.
I'm just going to try and think of something to say about that. All right. This has been a great episode, I think. Right? It's good.
I guess.
Even though Claudius started quite late.
Which is completely acceptable.
You should be punished for that. What's a good punishment for him?
Oh, that's even better.
To be banned from the podcast.
No, that was totally over the top punishment. What do you think, Clark? What's a good punishment?
Does it matter? Does it really matter? Because no matter what I pick, it will be considered unfair, unjust. It doesn't matter.
By me? Hell no. He was
yes. I mean, you've defended him tooth and nail.
I won't anymore. You're right.
I had the courtesy of at least giving you a heads up. That I wasn't going to be there. And what did you do? No, you took it. You took it and you claimed some type of dental emergency, which I'm still trying to figure out where the hell you pulled that one from.
That was Claudius. It's not me. I went along with it. I thought he knew something I didn't know. You guys play video games all the time.
No, you were the one who started it. You were the first one that mentioned emergency medical situation. So let's not,
There's also a little bit of dramatization, obviously. We like to.
Oh, I'm sure there was. Of course. Absolutely. Let's nail this boy to the cross. We'll show him to skip an episode.
Mention something amongst yourself while we find the exit music, if you could.
Oh, I see.
Oh, he's prepared.
Yeah, he's prepared. That's a real difficult task, to have the opening intro and ending intro. And it looks like he's not having too much luck with it either.
No.
Found it.
Oh, wow. He found it. Get ready. Here it comes. Show tunes.
Like and subscribe, everybody.
Like and subscribe.
We're supposed to pause now. Or not pause, Jerry. Mute it, Jerry. Claudius.
Pause.
Mute it. Grace.
Pause.
You're like